If I know it, you know it. If I don't, I'll find out for you. Yes, I have taken over Miss Treasure's show for at least a little bit because we have some in studio guests. They're going to be hitting the stage this week off Broadway. Say hello, Treasure.
Hello, everyone.
I have the song you just heard was "Bow" from the Screaming Females, Empty Heads. I am your man, Lorenzo. We're gonna interview the group. Say what's up, y'all.
How's it going?
Hello.
Hello.
We have Marissa.
Yeah, it's me.
We have Jared.
Yes, that's me.
And we got big man, King Mike.
Yeah, he's sitting in the back here.
He's sitting in the back, so he can't really hear me, but he can give me a holler from the back. What's up, y'all? What brings y'all to St. Louis?
We're here with our friends, Street Eaters.
Don't forget, they bought company to hang out with us. They bought company, and who they are again?
We got a band called Street Eaters from Berkeley, California. We got Megan.
See, they
Hi. To my left, and John behind me.
See, they brought people in to hang out with us.
Yep, that's right.
So, you guys are here. What y'all think of St. Louis so far?
So far, we've just only been to the Planet Fitness.
That's it.
It was nice. They sell JWoww's cosmetic line there.
In Planet Fitness.
Yeah, so it was like being at home.
Being back in New Jersey, you know.
Hey, that's the new. See, you just gave them a plug. So now everybody gonna run to Planet Fitness.
Yeah.
You guys are from Brunswick.
Yeah, New Brunswick, New Jersey. That's right.
And you all been doing music since 2000, 2005?
2005 was when we started playing.
Okay, this is the question I like to ask everyone who come in I interview. What made you all wake up one day and just say, I think I want to form a band?
I don't think that's really how it happened to me. Did it happen to you guys like that?
Well, I think it was a process. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't hit you like that.
It was a process for either all of you all?
I mean, I had like given up on being in a band really because I grew up playing drums and stuff, and my whole family is really involved with music, and I just never really done it. I never found people to play music with consistently, and then so I was just like going to college, helping some people run this club that was like a music club at the college, and ran into Marissa, and I was just like, hey, we should hang out sometime. I heard you play music. And she's basically just asked me to be in a band right away without hearing me play. She's like, you play drums? Let's play.
That is cool.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta try, I'll try anything once.
Sound like me. I'll try anything once.
It's like, and I lucked out.
You looked out and found two guys to hang out with and rock with.
Yep. It's a
That's
beautiful
what's up.
tale.
That's what's up. A lot of your music, I was listening to it, and I hear a lot of the Ramones in it. I hear some suicidal tendencies with it in it. So who are y'all biggest influence?
It's so tough, right? Because you're like, who's your biggest influence? Is it when the people you were listening to when you like learned to play music, or is it the people around you that inspired you to act the way you do? So right now, people like John and Megan in Street Eaters are some of our biggest influences because they've been doing it a long time, a bunch of different bands, like even just already on this tour, we've only been out a few days, and everywhere we go, they know people, and we keep running into people. Just the other night, the promoter on the show was talking about how he realized that John had helped him out last minute with a show for his band in like the late 90s. John set them up with a show in California, and the guy was like almost brought to tears because he's like,
He openly wept.
yeah,
He was pretty dramatic.
yeah, he was pretty dramatic, but it's inspiring to see people who are able to continue on in music and make friends, do new projects, continue traveling the world, all the stuff that makes music and community exciting.
Okay, and then with the pace of music going in different directions, they had you all down for as like indie rock, punk rock. How would you all justify or categorize yourself for as music?
I mean, we all kind of started hanging out and I guess talking about just like the general wide swath of like rock and roll, and I mean that encompasses like a great deal of subgenres. But we listen to all kinds of different music,
Well, I
I could start listing them, but I'm sure that you're privy to like other genres of music.
I listen to everything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I get certainly the bulk of what I listen to. I don't like call probably just like rock and roll or punk or whatever. But like, we never discussed it between the three of us. We just like started playing together, and whatever comes out, kind of like a turd.
So
It's organic.
Yeah.
there you go.
Smells like roses.
But see, turds have a bad reputation. But if you didn't make,
Try to help him out.
if you didn't, yeah, let me speak on this for a second. If you didn't make them, you get very sick and die. You might have to go to the hospital.
Okay, I don't know if I got to come back for that one.
That's right, because it's just the truth.
It's the truth,
And that's
though.
why I'm here. That's why I'm here on the radio today to speak my truth.
Well, speak it.
I'm gonna make some turds this evening at Off Broadway
Organically.
in St. Louis.
That's the best truth
Thank
that can be
you.
told. Everybody has to do it.
Yep. We're all connected.
And that is a very true. That is a very true. You all did 6 studio albums.
Yeah.
Out of the 6, which one was the most enjoyable? Which one would you say I can play over and over again?
That you can play?
No, you all. I mean, I'll play it all.
Why do I want to listen to it?
No, I mean, no. Some artists love their music. They have a favorite song or album they done that they can rock to all the time. And
It's the
wouldn't mind
next
playing.
one. The next one's gonna be the
next
best
one.
one.
Will be the best one. That's what's up.
We just put out a new song called Black Moon that just came out right before this tour, and get reactions from friends and family, and then when you finally put it out there into the world and see what people think about it, it's exciting to see that. I don't know. We know that there's certain people who follow our band and like are excited about if we're gonna put out a new song and are waiting for it, and it. There's always like a little bit of worry that you're gonna like disappoint somebody or something. You know what I mean? So when we put out the new song, everybody seemed really excited about it. People already knew the words to it, like on the first day of tour, even though it had only been out a couple days. So I can confidently say that I feel like we still got stuff to do, and I'm always looking forward to the next record.
So, I wanted to ask, how did you feel from going independently releasing music to signing with a record label?
Well, we never signed anything to be on our record label. Our record label is run by our friends Joe and Zach.
Oh, okay.
We've actually known them for longer than we've actually been putting out records with them. And they're kind of like, some...
So you have the joy of staying independent, but you have friends that help you along.
Yeah, I mean, we work with our friends and they run the label, and we kind of work for the label too. It's definitely like a process that of building a community of artists together and making sure that everybody is like happy and feels satisfied with their relationship with the record label.
Okay, that's cool. You solo. There is a minute and a half solo on the beginning of that song that I was just like floored, like, whoa! Like, she can rock a guitar.
Thanks.
When was the first time you picked up a guitar?
I was 14. I'm 31 now, and so whatever that math is, I don't know.
Oh, I'm not gonna let you get away with that one.
I don't know. I don't want to do it.
You did a solo. You do a solo right in the middle of Belle.
That's true.
Well, I'm just like, I'm looking at it like, she is bad.
Thank you.
So, how did it feel to be recognized as one of the top 100 guitarists?
I mean, I just like playing guitar I started playing guitar just because it was like at my house. My dad had one, and told me he could show me a Nirvana song, and I was like a lonely kid, and I didn't really like going outside, and I can't do any sports, so I was like, I'll just do this, and then I just started learning songs that I liked and stuff. I don't really care about lists and like kind of categorizing me
Right.
as like one of the quote unquote best. It puts like a lot of pressure on me that it makes me uncomfortable, and I also don't think it's true. So I just like playing because it makes me happy.
And I'm a believer in that, especially if you enjoy something you do. You know, it's never work.
Yeah,
You know, so.
exactly.
I love it. You all been around the world, been to different venues. What would you say is your favorite place to play?
That's another hard question because we played, well over 1,000 shows at this point.
St. Louis!
See? There it is. Right there. There it is. Best answer right there.
I would say I would give a shout out to Black Sheep in Springfield, Illinois, which we were at last night, which is a small all ages spot that's has a record store hooked onto it and this little skate park and just a group of people who work because they all volunteer there and they love doing it and they all play in bands and they bring bands through, just meeting people, and it's like spaces like that, although it might not be the place that sounds the best and sometimes they're a little dirty and whatever, it's just, it takes so much work and effort to like have something like that, and it's only there because people want to have it, you know what I mean? It's not about like if they can make money off of it or whatever else, and it's like it's really important to have those spaces, especially in like smaller cities, because if there wasn't a group of people willing to do it, then bands wouldn't be going through there.
So do you find bigger venues better or smaller?
It's not really about the size of it, it's more
Right.
just about like, if you show up someplace and they're trying to rush you in and out the door, because they're like 10 o'clock sharp, it's a changeover, the night, the DJs come in, nightclubs stop, we got to get you out the door, and you're like, this guy's trying to buy a record, they're like, we don't care, get out the door. It's like, it doesn't matter how the sound was or how the green room was. If you get that feeling from a venue, you're like, man, I hate this place. Yeah. So, but it's like sometimes you have like really big venues, like the 930 Club in DC is an independently owned and operated venue, and they care about everybody that comes through, and they make really great food, and they have these special desserts that they always get to the bands and stuff. And that's a really big spot that we played with. We played with Jack White there or whatever. But then we've also been to bars that are like, they seem to not care that you're there. They didn't get any local bands on the show to make sure that there was interest in the show. And you're just like, man, this place feels like they're just running you through a conveyor belt. So it's not the size of the venue. It's not even whether it's a bar or a venue or whatever. It's just like, it's all about how it's run and if it feels like it's there because people love music or if it's there because they want to make some money off the door or off the bar or whatever,
Well, I'm pretty sure you would enjoy the venue you all be playing in.
Cool.
So, shake it off. The cover of Shake It Off.
It's true, we did one.
I heard. I had to come about, and what made you all want to do it?
The AV Club does this thing where they provide you with a list of cover songs and you have to pick one from the list, and you go to the Onion offices, which is a fabulous publication. I don't know if you're familiar. Wow, what a thrill. And
You look so happy.
No.
right?
I'm gonna steal that from her.
I need it for the radio interview. And then you go in and you play your cover song, and they film you, and everyone comes in from the office and stares at you, and they kind of look kind of sad and bored, and you sweat a lot. And then when we were done, we were like, man, I don't think anyone liked that. That was bad. And then they didn't put it out for like 6 months, and we were like, that makes sense because we really sucked at playing that song.
I don't think.
And then they put it up, and now people yell Taylor Swift at me all the time. And I always like look behind myself, and I'm like, what's she doing back there? She's never back there.
She's following you.
Yeah, everyone's like, Taylor Swift. I'm like, where? I like looking at famous people too.
Do you want to know a story about that?
Tell it.
Everybody is always asking in the comments, they're like, why is she singing into a sock? Because there's a sock over the microphone. And everybody's always like, why is she singing into this foot? I don't get it. And people are like, oh, it's a pop screen. There must have been some problems with the P's or something. No, the true story is that something was wrong in the grounding in their facility, which means that there's electric shocks coming through the microphone. So the old trick is if you got nothing else, you can throw a sock on it so that you're not getting the beams of electricity shooting into your mouth.
I usually like the way it feels.
Yeah, and she's usually fine with it. Other people will complain. She's like, it's fine. Who cares?
Shocking.
But that day she was just like, this is lighting me up.
See, you led into the next question I was going to ask. I was like, where'd the sock come in?
It's mine. That's why it's so small.
And now I got my answer. I saw your itinerary. You all got a large tour dates going on.
Yeah, go big or go home, man.
Hey, can't get no better than that. I mean, you all are not just some fly-by-night group. You all have a great fan base. Have you ever put something out that you didn't like, or you just put it out and hope it works?
Like, in terms of music?
Yes. Have you ever had a song that you put out that you didn't think would work, but it worked and you was just shocked?
Taylor Swift
Taylor
cover.
Swift. Yeah.
Magic sock.
I mean,
Magic sock.
Yeah. I mean, we always put everything we put out. We work on it really hard. We think about how it's going to work in the setting of whether it's going to be a single or an album or a video or whatever, and we put a lot of effort into it. We're self-managed. We direct all our videos essentially. We produce our own albums, so when we do all that work, we're putting our heart and soul into it, but it's not necessarily that we're not aiming to be like, oh, this is going to be a record that's going to definitely please the fan base or something. We're going to do something that we're excited about, and luckily enough we have developed a fan base that's excited about music and excited about seeing where we're going to go and doesn't want us to just repeat what we've done before. And even I've talked to people that we've been friends with for quite a while who like our band, and they'll be like, the new album, the last album will always be my favorite one, but the new album has all this different stuff on it, and I really appreciate that, because if you guys just did the last album over again, I'm like, I already have a favorite version of that album. I don't need a second version of it, So I feel like, yeah, when your question about have we put stuff out and been surprised that it worked, kind of everything. You know what I mean? Like everything you put out, you're like, who knows? It's like, it's something that we've worked on, and now we have to allow the world to give us their impression of it and decide whether they like it or not. So nothing's ever a sure thing. All you can do is just do what you think make the best decisions and put as much effort and excitement into your own project and hope it comes back at you.
Okay. So how often do you all get to go back home? Brunswick.
Who cares?
I mean, that's where you started.
No. Oh, you mean like
Brunswick.
to visit New Brunswick?
Yes,
I thought you meant just like go home.
No,
like,
just go back home
I don't
and
have
perform.
a lot going on back over there.
Oh,
It's just
okay.
kind of a snooze fest.
Oh.
We go to New Brunswick once in a while. Mike goes there a lot.
Mhm.
He lives closer than Jared and I. Jared and I moved to Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's a cool DIY spot in a studio called In the West that's in New Brunswick that has really good shows and practice spaces and stuff like that. Last time we went to school in New Brunswick, and there wasn't a lot going on in terms of like storefronts and stuff. I remember there wasn't anywhere to get coffee, which was really weird for like a college town. I was always just like, I'm so tired. What could possibly help me wake up? Coffee would be on it. But now they have like coffee places, and there's a record store even, which is run by our friend Spina Records.
But Brunswick's it's not that small, is it?
It's not that big.
It's not that big. It's just it's different. I mean, it's New Jersey. New Jersey has no real big cities, but it's like the most densely populated state. So it's like in a lot of places, as I'm sure you guys are aware, you get not that far outside of St. Louis and you're in cornfields. You know what I mean? But in New Jersey, you get outside the city, and it's like you're run into another city. Like you're just like, it's a city to a suburb, and then the other side of the suburb is another city and then a suburb, and so it's like they're all kind of small individually, but they're just stacked on top of each other.
Cool. How was it performing on Last Call?
That was an awfully long time ago. I can't remember so
I
much.
do my work.
Yeah.
I do my work.
Going in the wormhole.
I'm going to make you dig for it.
That was a cool experience from what I remember, because we flew out to do it, which is it's something we've done a little bit more often now, but at that point, you know, it was like, the way we play a show is we put our gear in the van and we drive to the show, you know, so like flying out to LA to like play this thing, and we're just like, they're not paying us. Like they're like, oh yeah, if you get out here next week, we'll put you on the show. And we're like, we gotta figure out how to get out there. And then they ended up, you know, I made all these arrangements, so when we showed up, it was our exact gear, like the exact size of the drums and the exact same set that I play at home, all the same cymbals, like all the amps were there. It was all perfect, and people showed up to the show. It looked great. Felt like it was sounding good, and then Mike's amp just totally blew out, the one that we rented. So
What?
he was having to play through a direct signal through like a little tiny monitor that was just blaring nothingness at him, and he just went for it. I could hear that it was happening. I was just like, what's wrong with what's going on over there? But I couldn't quite tell, and afterwards I was like, Mike, what happened to your amp? He's like, it just crapped out, and I just kept going, and I was like, that's amazing. Like under the pressure that we were under, like we're flying out to this thing, we put all this money in renting gear, we don't know if they're even going to use the stuff, and Mike just powered through, and then they ended up using it for 3 separate episodes, and they replayed it all 1,000,000 times, and we're like, well, that was worth it. And then we ended up playing shows with like the band Garbage, and Butch Vig, who's like, you know, he's produced some of the, you know, he produced Smashing Pumpkins and Green Day and Nirvana and all these records, and you're like, how does somebody like this come across your band? And he's like, I was in he was like, I was in a hotel room, couldn't sleep, turned on and saw you guys on Carson Daly, you know. So you're like, wow, this thing really came back around.
I didn't get to meet Carson Daly though.
Yeah, he was hungover.
Wait, really?
They said he was sick, but on our flight in, we saw him. He was like hosting some award show the night before, and we're like, "There's no way he's showing up to our gig the next day." And then it just so happens they show, "Oh yeah, Carson got sick."
Daily News, TRL's back. Everyone,
Yes.
everyone rejoice.
Yes.
I don't think he's the host anymore.
I was telling someone that, and they was like, for real?
Yeah.
They're gonna have to start making music videos again.
I think that's a good thing. I think we need videos back on too.
Yeah.
Agreed.
One of our friends is the art director of the new TRL, Sasha. So you know
Cool.
that? She made the logo.
Whoa, that's heavy.
Okay. I know you all got to get out of here, so I'm
Yeah.
not going to keep y'all much longer, because I can keep y'all for another hour and keep talking.
Aw.
I know you all going to rock out at the Off Broadway tonight, right?
Yep, that's
Yeah.
right.
You
To
wanna
right.
come?
What time the show?
I don't know. I really don't.
You know,
It's probably 8 o'clock.
probably 8 o'clock.
That's a good guess.
Showtime.
Yeah.
You all rocking with them, right?
Yeah, they're the best.
Yeah, Street Eaters.
Street
Yep.
Eaters, y'all going to rock with them?
Yeah, we'll be there. Oh yeah.
Matter of fact, come on up here so y'all can talk to me. Since I got you here, I might as well talk to you a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask a question.
Ask a question.
Sure.
Come on.
What do you want to know?
I want to know Street
We're
Eaters.
very secretive, you know.
Very secret.
We like to
Mysterious.
hide in the background.
Don't hide in the background. Give me some information.
This is our third member over here.
Just- King Mike, you doing it all? Street Eaters, your music, your sounds, where it come from, how you got started.
From the darkness of the ether.
Beyond the void.
Beyond the void.
Beyond the void.
It stared
AK
back at us.
Yeah. AKA the East Bay, Oakland, Berkeley area.
The Berkeley area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Oakland, Berkeley. That's where we're from. And yeah, I'm not sure. I guess our music comes from where we come from.
How long y'all been together?
individually? 9
This
years.
band has been, about 9 years. Started in 2008.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How many members?
2.
Just you two?
Yeah.
Y'all rock together by yourselves?
It happened. Yes.
Go on and do it then.
Gotta keep it locked.
You're locked?
Gotta be locked.
Okay. Okay. So were you all a band that formed, or were you all friends, genuinely friends, and then got together in
We're pretty close friends.
college. King Mike over here laughing. like he got secrets over here, but I ain't gonna have him tell me.
Frenemies sometimes.
Mike right here.
But I'm gonna just let him sit over there, cause I'm gonna talk to him off mic. I know he got some secrets.
Individual,
He's gonna give us
individual
away. No.
He won't tell too much of y'all secrets.
We formed it as a two-piece.
Yeah,
actually.
we
Like, it
wanted
was-
to always have it be a two-piece.
Yeah, it was kind of designed to be kind of a maximizing the minimums thing, sort of like a minimalist idea, but seeing how much can you do with a limited instrumentation and format. So like, we've both been in a ton of other bands and toured for years and been playing music for a long time.
What you rock? I mean, what you play?
I play a bass. It's like a Fender Mustang short scale, and through 2 amplifiers. And Megan plays drums.
Right, and we both sing.
You rock drums?
Right, yeah.
So I have this
Both
thing
sing.
for female that rock drums. I love it because I'm a drummer myself. But I love a female that can rock a drum. It's all right in my
She
book.
leads.
Hey, anyone who's got arms can do it. I guess
True.
feet too. Feet help.
True.
Well, you gotta have socks around, I guess, to put over mics. So
Yeah.
it's good to have some
Yeah,
feet.
socks are important.
Marissa, I think they were talking about you.
I know the sock. I understand the sock.
Yeah.
And also the
That happens a lot.
the stimulus of the shocking. Like there's a certain point in the teeth you get where
Yeah,
it's
it
sort of
doesn't feel good.
satisfying, but then beyond that it starts
Yeah,
to get
it
to the
was too
gums.
much.
And that's just all bad.
Okay, y'all starting to worry me now. Y'all talking about microphones and shocking each other. I don't know. I'm gonna stay out of California.
Keeps me alive. Keeps us alive, you know.
How many albums you all have on?
We have 3 full lengths
3 full-lengths?
and 2 other 12-inch EPs and some handful of 7-inches. I
See,
guess.
now I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to go do my work.
We got some
Look
stuff.
You all up. You know, are you all on Twitter, Facebook, and all that too?
All that stuff.
See, I'm gonna have to go and look you all up now. There's some more work. Put y'all in the system, play you all. Then you all gonna have to come back, sit back down with me again.
Oh no, then we
Sounds
won't
good.
be mysterious anymore.
No, you all have to come back
Secrets revealed.
and do this again with me. Bring everybody. Bring everybody.
The whole crew.
The
Yeah.
whole crew.
Only if the whole crew's
We're gonna
here.
have Mike's spot right there where he can
I
chill
still
at
know what
in the
you're
corner. So he can chill in the corner and have his zen moment.
He's gonna hold on to that spot for you
That's
for the
your
next
spot,
time we
Mike.
come back.
He's talking about you having a sad
Thanks.
moment.
So once again, they're gonna rock out off Broadway tonight. We're gonna say about 8:00.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
So if you hear my voice, if you have nothing to do tonight, go check out Screaming Females and their group that's gonna lead them in. I'm gonna let them tell you who they are.
Street eaters.
Street Eaters.
Mystery ears.
They're gonna come out first, get you all hyped up.
That's
Cause I'm
right.
hyped.
That's how it works.
People who know me, I do interviews, I get hyped
We're
up.
very hyper.
No, that's why we brought them.
Street
They
Eaters.
got people rocking. You know what I mean? It's like it's hard to go out and play to a cold crowd. Everybody knows that. That's why you got opening bands. And sometimes there can be really good local bands, but it's much better to bring a band that you know is going to do the job every
You
night.
brought a band with you, so evidently that means they're good.
That's right.
We get to hang out, which is really nice.
Same
We
as
get
the
to hear
best
their
part.
new songs.
City.
We get to hear their new songs every night, which is the biggest treat you could possibly imagine.
Can't wait to
Their
hear
new
that new
album.
album.
Their new album is gonna kill.
So you all gonna
All I
hang
can
out in the
say.
city
We'll,
before you
yeah,
leave?
we'll be hanging out for a few hours. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
We'll be here.
Okay.
What you doing?
See, me, I would partake, but see, I have a lot of things to do.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh, believe me, I want to, but I got prior obligations that just hinders me from doing it.
All right.
But you never know, I might just show up though.
Okay.
So
Let us know.
I might come. Don't hold me to that.
Keep it casual.
This is KCFV. This is 89.5 The Wave. I am Lorenzo, a.k.a. the Information Man. I'm sitting here with Treasure. I have Street Eaters and Streaming Females. They had come by to hang out with us. Bless the mic and tell us about them and where they're going to be tonight. Where y'all going to be tonight?
Off Broadway, St. Louis.
Y'all heard it first. This is The Wave, 89.5. I'm glad you took time to hang out with me. We're gonna let them get out of here, but before we do, we're gonna leave you with their song. We're gonna leave you with Black Moon.
That's a new one.
This is the way. KCFV 89.5.
Okay, whenever you guys are ready.
Just sign it the most epic way possible. Little swish and flick with the marker there.
Whatever works for you works. Oh, was the door open? Are they in the zone?
What?
Is the door open to the studio?
Yeah.
That studio?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are in the zone. You get to hear like the pre-delay and the post-delay exactly. Because like over here, all I'm hearing is post-delay.
I can hear a bit of the pre.
I can barely hear the pre-delay.
Does anybody from the station use like a spot? Like what spot?
Anybody want to head down to the show tonight?
No pressure. Just asking.
I wish I could.
Okay.
I was gonna say they're asking if anybody wants to go to the show tonight. I can't because I've got to be picking you up, and I have
arranging these on days that I have stuff going on at night. You know?
Yeah, you really got to stop doing that.
Yeah, if I could just like not work.
A real job? That's not nice though.
A job that pays me.
Your real job's gonna feel whenever he hears that.
And I am recording this.